Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is...
Oh, nah, you thought this was AI? Psych! It's your boy Stacks. Like the human in real life. No artificial preservatives. So welcome to the channel. I got another base video for y'all, you know what I'm saying? Now, these are normally base showcases. This video will be a little different of a vibe. Come on, you know I be yapping though. So if you want to skip my amazingly handsome and soothing voice, you can skip to right here to get over the yap session I'm about to have. Cool? Bet. Anyways, I figured if I'm going to keep showing you these like square-like bases, you know, the least I could do is tell you why they're usually done this way, right? It's because I want to. Bruh. Get over it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Please don't go away. But for real, we all know at least for now that Palworld ain't changing the size of the base or the shape of it. So for now, we kind of got to build up to do more. You know, just call me the city slicker landlord, like I'm from New York, baby, and all these mini skyscrapers full of that luscious view of the buildings next door. Okay, y'all, I yapped enough for real. Check it. This base is located at the coordinates on the screen right now. Those over there. Yeah, so it's off the coast. It's off the west coast of Feybreak Island. Here's a monstrosity of a base that I got over here. You know, it's basically one of those tower bases again, but you know, I try to spruce it up a little bit, give it a little bit of aesthetics. But basically what it is my food production base that doubles up as a breeding and pal enhancement base. It's got 5 floors, and each floor is about 3 stories, 3 walls high. And then we got this little middle bridge section that you can see over here, and that goes all the way up to the executive suite, which is kind of similar to my Feybreak production video. You know, the one I have here. Oh, and by the way, thanks y'all. Y'all are really running up the numbers for your boy. This video already got 2.3K views now. I appreciate it. If you all keep liking my content, please drop them comments and, you know, sub to your boy. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. I'll take the constructive criticism too, I guess. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Send them over too. You know, I appreciate it. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. Maybe. So check it. We're going to do a live tour right now. So what we got here is the base. I'm about to go to it real quick. You see that nice backdrop of Feybreak Island? So nice. And then if you look over here, this is one of the reasons I actually built it. Look what it's right near. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. What you got over here? Yes, the level 60 oil rig. So what you do, right? You enhance your pals. You enhance your pals. You make the right foods, and then once you're done, you just take off this beautiful runway I'm about to show you in a second, and you head straight to that island. Very conveniently located. It's also on top of this little mushroom island looking structure, so you basically don't have any raids that usually pop up. And the great thing is, you see this island back here, this one over here? Yeah, so typically, depending on how long you set your meteorite interval rates, you'll actually get meteors or supply drops that actually drop right down here. So you can come over here, knock your enemies out real quick, get your loot, head right back to the base. Best thing ever. Super easy. You know what I'm saying? Also, if you need mushrooms, tons of mushrooms on this island. See what I'm saying? Oh boy, here we go. Okay. Yes, like I was saying, tons of mushrooms, right? You got trees if you need to, but we use wood stuff for that, so we don't have that. But yeah, you got all your mushrooms if you need to re-up on mushrooms for whatever reason, you know. Get lit. Just kidding. All right, let's get on my pal. Let's roll up here. Show you the tour of this base now. All right, so this is one of my favorite features right here. You know, I like airplanes and stuff, so I built myself a little runway, right? So you can come down. Oh, let's try not to blow this thing up. You can come down here, and this looks really good at night, by the way. I'll try to come show it to you at night. But you got your runway, and I even made numbers with these lanterns, so it's pretty cool. So what you'll typically do when you're done with the base and you're heading towards the oil rig, you just come over here and take off like you're a plane, you know what I'm saying? Go, dip off, and you're off to the oil rig. But coming back, can see the runway in the distance. Drop off, land in the landing strip. Ooh, I'm so good at this. All right, so check it. Get rid of the Xenolord. Say bye. Bye. All right. Oh, no, I don't want you either. Okay, so check this out. So as soon as you hit the entrance, the beautiful entrance, you have yourself 2 ranches over here, right? One to the right and one to the left. These are where I will usually produce honey, but you can put whatever you want here. I buy all my other stuff because I have tons of money, because you know I'm a rich billionaire. Okay, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so you have your ranch over here. I usually fill them with bee guards, just so they can drop that honey for your boy. Hey, drop that honey for your boy. Hey, drop. Okay, I'm really done now. Okay, I'm kidding. All right, so back. All right, so now to the left over here, we're gonna have about 7 or 8, looks like 8 large cooking ovens. And what I typically do is I will queue things up, right? So as I have more materials, I'll just queue it up, put it here, let the pals get to it, and then my knocklims will come back and take them to wherever they need to be. So I don't have to sit there and wait for one like these cakes to finish in order to like queue something else up. If I want something done immediately, I'll just put it in there and they'll make it when they make it. And then you'll have over here this little chest that I use to typically store flour, but you know, since it's an ingredient chest, they'll just store whatever they feel like storing. So I have about 6 mills over here that I also queue up, as you can see right now. Just queue up some flour, and they'll get to it when they do, right? Over here I'll just queue up some cake. This is an example, right? So you got some cake here, some cake here, and by the time I'm done with everything, I have so much cake I don't really know what to do with it, but usually I'll either transfer it between bases or I'll just, you know, keep them, because why not, right? This is partially a breeding base. So all right, you have your food chest over here. This is where everyone eats. If you can see in here, I have these grilled lamb balls, right? They increase work speed, I think, by about 30%, and the sanity also decreases slower. So it's a nice little combo. It doesn't make them less hungry because I want them to come and eat so they can actually keep that bonus. So that's why I keep those there in particular. I'll upgrade to better food later on, but you know, that's been my favorite food so far. You can also do salads. That's what everyone typically does. But you know, I try to, you know, be a little versatile with my food. This is the electricity generator, large electricity. Sorry, y'all. This is my large electric generator, whatever you call this thing. And that's the main thing that I use to generate electricity. I got one Orzerk running it for the most part because, you know, that's all we need. I don't do anything like oil production, so it doesn't really drain that much. And then here, as you always see in all my typical tower mega bases, I love this stair design, the 3 wide, and then it goes into 2 up here. I found that this is one of the easier ways to get through the base, just because the pals themselves don't have pathing issues. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer to go up the stairs, but they haven't ran into any issues so far. Then we have this electric room. Like I said, it opens on both sides this time. Most of the time I have one side blocked. And I have 10 of the accumulators. Why 10? I don't know. I've heard they stack. You could tell me if that's right or not. But, and I have this alpha and this beta wave generator just to give myself a little bit of a work speed and sanity boost. I don't know how effective they are. You know, like go to other videos to find it out. You know, I'm here to show you the base, right? Bet. Cool. Got some lights. Got this little coil thing because it's an electric room and I feel like throwing that on there for no reason. Your boy does that sometimes. And then over here, I was just trying to find somewhere to put the repair chest and the PAL, you know, the one that this one, the one that, you know, makes saddles and stuff. That one, yeah. So then if you were to, you know, go through this little door right here, this is where I decided to hide all of my base enhancements right here. You know what these are, like snowman, all that stuff. And then if you go out here, this is the outside of the base, right? And I have a little bit of a walkway that way. So, and then I put some pylons here just to, you know, hide things up. I got one on each side. You only need one, but aesthetics and symmetry, right? That's right. Let's go. Okay, so back to the main base. To the left side. Oh, excuse my anyways, to the left side, we have your food production. I have one of just about every crop, right? So we got carrots, onions, potatoes, lettuce, tomato over there, flour, and red berries. Now, depending on your needs, you can actually replace all of these with whatever you want, right? I just decided to do one of each because I wanted versatility in the food that I decided to make. Crop-wise, I wanted to get everything I could get. Now, as far as crops are concerned, I really can buy the flour and the red berries. I can also buy lettuce and tomatoes if I put a different merchant there. But right now, I can buy flour and red berries if, you know, the production is running slow in order to make cakes. But I have this little section over here. These are all my storage chests for food crops. And I found that my pals basically make so much food over time, especially because this is a dedicated server, that they'll just fill these chests up, 99.99 of everything, right? And I could get, like, you know, those coolers that cool the food down, but I figure I run through the food so much that I don't need to do so. And even if I don't run through the food, there's so much food, I'm never really gonna run out of materials. So I just decided to put them in chests instead, because one, that saves you from needing a pal to cool things off, and then two, it gives you much more space than the methods that they have to store things with the cooler. Like for this one, for example, you see how many slots you don't have as opposed to the other ones. But I do keep one of these because I like to store the meat here. When I buy the meat, pause. When I purchase the meat from the vendor, I like to basically keep these cool because these will last a little bit longer, and there's less spaces. So I'll use this to keep like the mushrooms that I gather, since you can't buy mushrooms yet. And I'll also keep them to gather the like the different meat that I buy. Really, right now you can only get lamb bowl and chickpea, but you can make a lot of stuff with it. Everything else that I get, I will usually like butcher the pals for it, and then as soon as I butcher them, I'll go over here and cook it immediately. So there's not really a need to store them. But I got myself a nice little merchant area over here. Shout out to hold on a second. Let me go find this YouTube channel real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, yeah, Epic Treasure. I found it. Okay. Yeah, her channel. She gave me this great idea of doing this little nice setup for the Epic, for the merchants. So, you know, credit her for that. Pretty good channel. She got some really nice base designs herself. So, you know, check her out and subscribe to her channel as well. Yeah. Anyways, so we got this merchant. I use this to buy eggs and milk. And also, what is the other thing? I do buy flour and thing all this also. So, but you can also buy your meat here. So just everything from eggs and milk to and you could buy wool, leather, you know, your typical stuff that you need. Electric organs if you run out of it, and then medical supplies if, you know, your pals get sick because you work them too hard. I'm just kidding, because, you know, sometimes they just get, it is what it is. So anyways, we got the merchant over here that you can use to get whatever materials you need. And like I said, I'm a rich boy, so I get whatever I want, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, they'll just come through here, stand over here. This little chest here is where I hold my base schematics, and, you know, just try to spruce it up a little bit, make it look a little nice. So nice little cover. But over here is where, you know, I'll buy whatever I need to buy. I'll store it over here wherever I need to store it, and then I'll come back over here and cook whatever I need to cook, and then I'll come over here and mill whatever flour I need to mill. So basically the first floor is dedicated to mostly fruit production, and you can, you know, take any approach you want. You know, if you want to put cows and chicken in the ranches instead of buying them, you can do that too. It's really up to you what you decide to do. So that concludes the first floor. Now when you come up here, I got this elevator like thing that I typically do on every base. They do vary in size, but I started making them bigger, and what you'll do is you'll basically hop on a flying pal or your Crow Giro, and you'll basically just, you know, fly up to all the different levels that you have, right? So it's a nice quick way to get to different levels if you don't want to go up the stairs. But sometimes I like to take the scenic route, so that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Now, as we get to the second floor, The second floor is going to be the first floor that you do most of your breeding in, right? So what I did before I get to the breeding section, I like to put a bed on every floor. And the reason I do that is wherever I'm at, if I'm working hard or whatever, I decide I want to get some sleep, I'll just put the bed in wherever I want to put it. Now usually I have like a dedicated room for it, but this base is not my main base, but it is a base that I'm going to be keeping because sometimes I do experiments and I'll make a base, but I don't really stay there. But this is one of the bases that I'm going to be staying in as far as like doing a lot of my major work, especially because it's so close to the oil rig. And believe me, the view is crazy. Like, check this out. I got a bed here. Look at that view, right? I go to sleep. It's going to turn into daytime. I need you to see this. Look at that view. It looks even better on the higher floors. When I get to the higher floors, I'm going to show it to you how good it looks. But anyways, back to what I was saying. The second floor, not too much going on. We have we have 4 breeding pens on this floor. We got 4 on the third floor as well. And in the middle, we have 4 of these, what do you call it? Little hatching things. Now, this is a good time for me to explain my setup a little bit because it's going to vary for you a little bit. For me, I have my building structure deterioration rate set to 0, which basically means I have a little bit of stuff that's built outside the base area. I don't want that stuff to deteriorate. So what I do is I set that to 0 in the game because why not, right? You build something nice. You don't want it to decay just because it's not in the circle. And Palworld is not expanding it to a square. So, you know, that's just one way I get around the things, right? I put all the useful functions inside the circle to make sure that the pals actually work on the stuff. But as far as like certain aesthetics, I will put it a little bit outside of the base. For example, like the runway I showed you earlier, which we'll go back to in a little bit. But I basically decided that I turn that off to 0, right? The next thing I do, excuse me. Okay, the next thing I do is the breeding pals. I set my pal incubation rate to 0, right? So basically, as soon as you pick up an egg and you put it in here, it's immediately ready. Now, if you want to play the game a little bit vanilla, you can set it to where you know, it goes through normal breeding times. I believe that's 2 hours for a huge egg. If you do that, it may be a good idea to replace these with the electric generator versions, just because that will make it a little bit easier to breed, especially in this environment where you can see on the meter over here that this is a pretty cold place, right? You're gonna need cold protection to stay on this base. Now for me, I have the heat resistant hexalite armor, which gives me level 1 cold resistance, and I also have the multi-climate undershirt +2, which gives me 3 level 3 cold resistance as well. So basically, as you can see on my meter, I don't really have any problem traversing anywhere because I have full protection against any sort of weather. So that's a pretty good combo you have. So back to this, I decided that I like the way these incubators look a little bit better than the electric ones, so I chose to use these. But that's because I don't have any breeding time to wait. So you would probably replace these with the electric ones if you're playing the game a little bit more vanilla, right? So on each floor, on each breeding floor, I will have the PAL box here, the mini PAL box. I'll have a dimensional storage, which I just realized I put the wrong way. I'll fix that later. And a PAL surgery table. And I use that to basically, you know, make any sort of modifications I'll need to the pals as far as their passive abilities. And if I want to store like, if I want to store certain pals, and I usually do this with raid pals, I'll store raid pals in here so they don't take a bunch of space in the pal box, because the pal box will get pretty full very quickly when you start breeding it, like I do. And then of course we have these pal changing stations if you want to change the skins of certain pals in the game. So that's a pretty good setup I have over here. Basically near each side I also have a monitoring station and another pal box, so I can quickly interchange pals and put them in the right spots. And you know, as you can see, we have plenty of cakes because I'm basically going crazy with the cakes. Now, in this middle section on this floor in particular is what I would call the PAL enhancement floor. So this is the one where, like, if you're trying to make PALs stronger and stuff, this is the floor that I do it in. If you want to just disassemble PALs, I got that on the 3rd floor, which is coming a little later. So on each side, it's a little symmetric. You don't need it, but that's how I do it. You have the PAL condensing station, and you have the refrigerated crusher, which I use to basically convert the PAL souls, right? And then, of course, I have another PAL box here, because why not? You can throw them wherever you want. And then up here, I have the Anubis statue, which I use to enhance the PALs. And then in the middle, I have the chest, which holds all my stuff that I need to actually do something, right? So, and of course, more PAL boxes, because why not? I have each side simultaneous because usually I have a friend playing with me on the server, and if he wants to work on stuff, he has one whole side to himself, while I have one whole side to myself, right? And if you look from the outside, the view is real nice. You can see the, well, it's hard to see the oil rig from here, but it is there. And then you have my runway that you can see. So as you go up the floors, you're gonna see the view gets nicer and nicer. So like I said, these are the PALs that I'll breed typically for enhancement, whether I'm doing condensation or I'm trying to breed new PALs. The 3rd floor that you can see over here is mainly dedicated to breeding Meteorite meat. Again, pause. I apologize. Man, how long is this video? This video is getting kind of long. Anyways, going back to what I was saying. Yeah, you have the Meteorite in each pen. They each obviously can hold 20 eggs. So that's 80 eggs every free session. What I do is I put philanthropists on all of them so that they basically pump those eggs out real quick. And then when I'm done, I come over here and I will what do you call it? I will hatch them over here, and then when I'm done hatching them, I'll come over here to this PAL condensation machine thing. Condensation, oh my goodness. This PAL disassembly machine right here, and I'll just butcher them in mass, right? Nicely. I'll do it nicely. I'll you know, I'll wave bye to them before I do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you know, like, hey, I'm gonna miss you. Anyways, okay, back to what I was saying. I don't have the dimensional storage over here because, you know, I don't really need it for this floor. This is the floor where I do most of my butchering. But however, if you have like a bunch of breeding projects going on, you can really interchange and just put whatever PALs you want here. So I do have PAL condensation machines up here too, so that helps with that. I just don't have the crusher and the stuff like I did on the 2nd floor. So that's basically the 3rd floor, right? Now the 4th floor is where I have all my skill trees, right? If you saw my if you saw my Mega Base video, you know, this one right here, that one's racking up views too. Please listen, I appreciate all your support. Please continue to subscribe, like I said, and you know, drop comments. I love when y'all comment. I'll be commenting back. You see it. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Every breeding base that I have, I tend to have skill tree fruits on as well. So each one is designed a little bit differently, but the way I did this one, I think is my best one yet, right? So coming up here, you have your 2 Japanese springs on each side. That's just more for the PALs to get some relaxation in. You have 6 trees over here. You have 12 over here in the main section. I have 6 on the side over here. Obviously, you know, if you peep outside, you can see the different views in each different section. So I did optimize trying to get nice views as I go along, because I like aesthetics a little bit as much, but you know, I try to also keep the base a little bit open because I want pathing to not be an issue. So I have this center section over here where I have this spring structure, and at night it lights up really good. Let me show you a picture of it right here. Check this out. Yeah, it looks really nice at night. It's dark, but you know, it's just cinematic and everything. So here's where I keep all my skill fruits, right? I have different kinds. I have the legendaries in one, and then I have all the common ones in another. So but they'll typically just start dropping them in whatever chest they want. and I'll just come through every now and then and organize it, and then I try to spruce it up a little bit so you see the nice little design here that I got. But other than that, there's not much going on in this level. Basically, I will set it and forget it, right? So for example, over here, there's 12 holy fruits left. I have some that have like hundreds, and all they do is when they're done, they just come back and you know, water it again and keep it pushing. I like to just have a bunch of skill fruits. Not that I need them, but you know, why not have pals working? Then we come to the 5th floor, right? And this is where all of the pals sleep. Now I figure if I'm gonna work them to the bone, right, I might as well give them good beds, right? So I have 50 beds because in my settings I can have up to 50 pals max, and I just want to have 50 beds in case I put 50 pals. But as you can see right now, I only have 45 working. You can put a lot less. It's just up to you with how you want to do it. The way I do my base designs, it's very scalable, right? So you don't have to use everything on the base. You can use a little bit of the stuff on the base. You can use a lot of the stuff on the base, correct? So if you are running the 15 pal setup, my advice would be to have one planting pal, like I have Prunelia. Then I'd have one or two. I would have 2 watering pals, right? So 2 watering pals, and that would be for downstairs, right? So 2 ganglers, for example. I would keep the Brahola, so that's your second planter, only because of its ability that basically makes breeding eggs faster. So that's 4 pals so far. You need your 1 electric pal that will, you know, keep everything running. You can have 1 fire pal that runs all of your food and cooking and stuff like that. So what's that, like 6 or 7 pals? And then you can have your 1 cooling pal, and you don't really need a cooling pal to cool your food or anything, but if you want to, you can have 1 cooling pal. And then you have your breeding pals after that. And that's all you really need, right? You could throw, you do need to throw some transporting pals. I would have at least 2, so just have 2 like Knocklims. If you want to optimize which pals you want to use, Knocklims have been the best ones for me so far. And then you have 1 person, 1 bee making honey, because you do need honey for the thing. It's gonna be slower, but you know, you're working with 15 pals. And then the rest of your slots you can use for breeding. I think there would be at least 4. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I don't know. It'll be on the screen. But you should have enough to do 2 sets of breeding at the same time. But you know, everything is scalable. So once you get more, you can basically just do more, right? So I got 50 beds in my case. I have Japanese spring on each side because why not? And then I wanted to show you the beds again, right? Because this is the last main floor of the base, right? Before we get to the executive suite. Look at the view over here. Is that not crazy? It gets even better on the top, but this is just a nice view from the bed over here. So whatever floor you're on, like I said, you can always go in and take a nice nap to the next day. It'll turn into daytime for you and everything's good. Now this is the elevator that takes you to the executive suite, right? And it's the same theme with all of my stuff, right? Where the executive suite is basically almost 100% vanity. There's not really much utility to it. All right, so check it. Now we're gonna go to the executive suite. So grab your flying pal. And the cool thing is you're gonna come in this way, but you're gonna exit this way. So all you gotta do is fly up, and you made it to the top, right? There you go, boom. Now, like I said, this area is mostly vanity, but it's a nice little drop. You know, you figure you do something a little nice as you come along. So the way I have it here is, this is the runway, the top runway that I use to grab a pal. So same thing as the bottom. If you know how runway numbers work, you got runway 1 coming in, runway 35 going out. For all my aviation heads, you know what it is. And check out the view of the oil rig from here. Imagine you taking off, right? We're gonna do this. Quick speed. Dip. And look at that view of the oil rig. And I'm pretty sure at this height, we could probably make it all the way over there. Now, they will attack you, but hey, why not test your dodging skills? You know what I'm saying? But coming back, we have the top, right? You basically come in for the landing. Let's see if I can stick the landing. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So smooth. I didn't land, but you know what I mean. But anyways, I'm gonna show you what it looks like at night. Check this out. Check this picture out. So we come in, and when you come out, like, you're gonna basically come out like this. Immediately to your right, you have a little patio area. You have some chairs here with a table. Like I said, fully decorations. You have these lights over here. They glow pretty well at night. You can sit here, have a nice view of Feybreak over here from here. Just look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I'm telling you, the views are immaculate. So now you're gonna come over here. Let me show you the executive suite. This will be kind of like your office, you know, where you have business meetings and everything. By the way, I forgot to mention the sky, the roof, glass roof, so you can see the clouds in the daytime, and at night, I think the moon is out. You can see that too. But if you come in here, right, you have your rest area to the left. And this is just another place for you to, you know, get some Z's if you need some sleep. I have some chests if you want to store some stuff. So this could technically be like a storage-based kind of situation where, like, let's say, you know, you're keeping weapons here and whatnot. What I'll typically do is I'll have my mega base that has all my main things, but then I'll have a set of those same weapons over here. So if I want to swap out, I can go swap out to whatever weapons I need without having to switch bases, and then I'll have what I need to go tackle that oil rig, right? Then you go to sleep, and check this view out. Look at this thing. Hold on, let me get my camera right. Look at that. Tell me that ain't nice. So now you come in here. This is the executive suite. You know, nothing big. I just put some tables together, and then you know, you got your nice little antique chairs. You know, they could do better with chairs. I think over time they'll add more to the game, and hopefully you'll get some more furniture. But for now, you got the chandeliers as well for the lighting. Just gives you like soft lighting, not super harsh, but enough to light up the room at night, right? In this room, you don't have any lighting, right? Because, you know, nighttime, I don't want light here at night. So, you know, gives you a nice little shade and stuff. So now, my favorite part of this build so far, even though it's full vanity, is this restaurant, right? You got this piano over here, kind of like you're at a nice little small eatery. Come in here, open the door, straight shot to the bar, right? Look at that, beautiful, immaculate. Then you have your table, your large table over here, and your two small tables over here. Got nice little decorations on the walls and stuff. And you have your chandeliers on the top, so it does a nice little, not super bright, but nice little lighting at night. This is all decorative, like I said, and then if you come over here, you have your little kitchen area that we don't use. Like, we don't use any of the stuff in here, but it's just a nice little backdrop over here, little kitchen to, you know, supplement the fact that you're at a restaurant. And oh my goodness, I'm telling you, tell me this view is not fire from here. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. You can practically see the whole island from here. But anyways, so as you can see, that's the main part of the base for the most part. We got this, like I said, we got the 5 floors that handles most of the work, and then you come up here to the executive suite to have a good time. All right, well, listen, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making this base. You know, I do this stuff for fun a lot, but you know, sometimes, you know, I try to, you know, just double it up as content, you know what I'm saying? So I do appreciate y'all coming through, checking the channel out, and you know, what's up to your boy? I'm gonna show a little montage right now at the end of the video of different pictures of the base and how it looks at nighttime especially. So you have a nice little view of versatility of how things are looking. But I hope you enjoyed the video. And by the way, if you do want a full base guide of how to build this from scratch, let me know in the comments. Look, all it takes is one. But if you are actually interested in a build guide, let me know. I'll do a full tutorial. What I'll probably do is mainly focus on the structural stuff, and then I'll throw a little bit of the aesthetics in there, and then you can kind of, you know, take the aesthetics any way that you please. But I'll take a bunch of pictures with that video and show you how I did the aesthetics, so if you want to follow along, you can do that as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate y'all being here and all that good stuff. I'm gonna go to sleep now. I'll catch y'all later.